John Tavares entering the year was like doom and gloom. This guy's finished. He's getting $4 million per season on his potential extension. And Oham, ditto, same old John Tavares season, averaging about a point per game. He gets his 5th Hattie as a Leaf, 13th career. He's currently on pace for 41 goals, 76 points. What's happening here, Dave?
He's not done.
Yes.
I mean, shit. I don't know. I don't understand why everybody wrote this guy off. Like, okay, maybe he's not the best up the middle anymore, but the guy can still produce. And all of this $4 or $5 million talk on a new deal, I don't know where the hell that's been coming from. Because he's not signing for that. Like especially if he puts up 35 to 40 goals this year and is in the 70 to 80 point realm, that's second line material. So, and first on some teams. So, like, this is a $8 million player, probably. Might not be what everybody wants to hear, but if you want to keep him, you're probably looking at that 7, 8, depending on term. Like the start of the season, I figured he'd probably end up with something in the 3x7 range. Something like that. He may be making an argument to be a little higher than that. But the cap's going up and you're going to have space. And if he doesn't get it here, he can explore options somewhere else. But the way that Tavares is playing is, yes, it's prototypical 91 right now, but are you going to not be happy about a 35 to 40 goal scorer and a near point a game player? I mean, I would take that for a team, and we touched on it, for a team that needs the secondary scoring to kind of contribute. Well, great. This is what you need. You need other pieces too, obviously, but you need these kinds of guys, so you don't have to exclusively rely on Austin and Mitch and Nyes up on the top line. You can go back to this unit with Willie and with Tavares. So this is all a good thing. And again, if you can find somebody up the middle to play with him, so you can slot him on the left side, awesome. That's a good thing. Worst case, maybe if they really want to bring in and somebody falls into their lap in terms of a top 6 guy, a secondary threat on the wing, you have to weigh those types of options to throw him on the left side and keep Tavares up the middle for the duration of the season. But look, the way that Tavares has been playing, and it feels like he's playing with a little bit of, less weight on his shoulders. And maybe that's because of the captaincy, that it's no longer his burden and he doesn't have to deal with the media on a daily freaking basis. But whatever it is, it's working for him. And for his sake, I hope he keeps it up. And for the Leafs' sake, they need him to keep it up.
I don't buy that captaincy BS. Like, I've been to a bunch of games this year. John Tavares talks to the media every game. Like, every time I'm there, he's doing scrums. Like, I think he's doing exactly what John Tavares has done his entire career. And that's why I love this guy. That's why I liked him as captain. He doesn't get too high. He doesn't get too low. Like, he is the epitome of a professional. And every time you count him out, he rises to the occasion. That's exactly what we're seeing. Having said that, I don't know if you feel the same way. I'm in no rush to give this guy an extension. Ditto for Mitch Marner. We've had this conversation before. Honestly, like, he could put up 60 goals this year. If this team doesn't push through in the Stanley Cup playoffs, again, I think it would be insane to come back and roll it back with these guys. I just think we're at a point. You mentioned the reference earlier on the year, in the show. Get the job done. Great. If you don't, then I think you got to make seismic changes. Maybe it's not re-signing a Tavares. Maybe it's not re-signing a Marner. But I will stand on that ground regardless of the pace these guys are on. It can't be the same old song and dance if let's say they lose in the first round again,
Yeah, and overall, I mean, I agree with you. Toronto's the problem that they're faced with in that situation is, well, who the hell are we going to get to bring in to replace these guys? Like, if Mikko Rantanen is available and he's going to July 1, he's going to July 1, different discussion. You go all in for him. And you're probably looking at, if he hits the open market, he's 14 mil. Maybe a little bit more, depending on how trigger happy some of these GMs get. If he doesn't stay in Colorado, and he wants some big bucks. I think based on some of the numbers along the way, like McKinnon's first year of his new contract that kicked in last season was just around 15% of the salary cap. Draisaitl's deal that kicks in next year is 1% of the 15% of the proposed salary cap, or the anticipated cap of $92.5 million. So you're looking at roughly similar numbers there for Mikko Rantanen in his deal. And the cap's going to go up. We're probably going to be around 95 is my guess, as they try to bridge the gap before having an explosion in a couple of years. So if you know you can replace a Marner or a Tavares with a specific player that's going to be available, then you do it. But that's the challenge. It's a risk. Can you keep Tavares at $5 million? You sign that all freaking day. I just don't think that's realistic. So you kind of have to weigh things out. Okay, you get bounced in the first round again. Even if you get bounced in the second round, and these guys just aren't getting it done, is it the complementary pieces you got to bring in? Or do you say goodbye to one guy and try to fill the void by bringing in two specific players? It's almost a catch-22 based on the availability of other guys. And quite frankly, GMs around the National Hockey League aren't the most aggressive overall. And I look to Vegas. Like, Vegas doesn't give a shit. They're just going to give out assets and deal picks. And they tell us, hey, we pay a lot because we can afford to pay a lot based on the fact that we want to compete every year and go after a championship. So if you're coughing up a little bit extra and you're winning, who gives a shit, right? So you gotta weigh the good with the bad. Is the juice worth the squeeze? Blah blah blah. All those fucking puns and expressions. Excuse me. And then just kind of go from there. But the Leafs have to determine when it's the right time for them to squeeze. And is it now? I think they got a good group, so maybe. But if it doesn't work out this season, then you got a whole other can of worms you got to unravel here, or open, or whatever the hell the expression is.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosa. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.